Start. Okay.
There we go.
Let's see if it stays.
Yay! Okay.
Okay.
Is it glitching?
Not yet. We'll see if it stays this time. Okay, round 2.
Sorry, guys.
We might only have 10 minutes, so
Really?
let's make the most of it.
What is that? Why does it do 10 minutes?
Hey guys, sorry about that. So, I don't know if you heard, we're trying to figure this out. I purchased an Ethernet cable to have a more stable connection because we're using a really crappy wireless router. So we'll see if that makes a difference next week. But today, we'll see if it lasts. I give it like 10 minutes, but cross our fingers.
Cross your fingers. Okay, so you guys caught up with us from earlier, talking about like what we did this week and what our business and blah, 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 blah. So, actually, we do have a, what's it called?
Announcement?
No, do we?
I don't know. I don't know what you're asking.
We have a topic tonight.
Gotcha.
Which we always say that we want to have a topic and then we never do. So we have a topic for you guys tonight. So we first of all want to ask if anyone in this chat, so Jono, Bronarly, Elle, everybody, like, have you guys ever been injured before and how severely? Because we kind of want to talk about the levels of injury, you know, like when you first go through an injury and then kind of...
It's all you, I don't know.
You know, it's just conversation. It's not like a right or wrong thing. It's just like what you've gone through. Like I know with me, when I broke my clavicle, I was in a recliner for 3 months and I got surgery and had to not move all summer and it was horrible. But I think oftentimes with injuries, a lot of people go through pretty dark times, like mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever else. And so I just kind of want to talk about that tonight and see if any of you have been injured and felt that, like, was it hard to come back to normalcy? Was it hard to get that body part moving again? Was it hard to get back into athleticism? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so that's a great topic. I think the problem, the issue, and I don't know much about this realm. I'm not medically trained in the psychology of it, but I think a lot of people identify themselves through athleticism and through activity. And once that's taken away, who are they? They don't have anything. Maybe their sport, maybe their exercise is their outlet. Maybe it's what they do for a hobby. Maybe it's what they do to escape. And when that's gone, then they have to deal with other things. That could be inner demons. That could be, who am I? I don't have this anymore.
The identity piece.
Yeah. I'm never going to do this again. I think there's stages of grief with injury. I think there are with anything.
And then also today's age where you can see what everyone else is doing and feeling like, oh, I wish I was up there.
Comparison.
I couldn't be doing that. Yeah.
It's worse than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Jono, both shoulders, all tendons completely ripped, 4 operations. Yeah.
Dang, Jono. What was that from? Snowboarding? Question mark?
Yeah. What was the kind of the mental warfare that you had to endure when you were going through those surgeries? I'm certain it was hard.
Yeah. And how was coming back? Because I see you said it was a slow return back to snowboarding. So what did you see a physical therapist? Were you pushed to move your arms? Were you scared? So a lot of people are really afraid to move their parts once they've injured them because they don't want to hurt them or injure them more. And so kind of want to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Jono says, yes, snowboarding. First one was the hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
How about you with your leg?
Yeah, so I think I've talked about this before, but I broke my leg when I was 15. I think I was 15 years old. Pretty severe break. So essentially I was through soccer, football, as you would say, Jono. And it was just a long return. I had a rod. I had surgical rod put in, nerve damage, you name it. But I don't know. You're so young, 15 years old. You're so insecure and unsure about everything. In many ways. Like, yeah, it was really hard. Really, really hard. And soccer was my identity.
How did you do coming back to it? Like, did you see a physical therapist? Did you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Jono said, mentally it was a battle. Absolutely, I was totally mental. But at the time, I was 15 and didn't know what I was dealing with. I couldn't play soccer in high school my freshman year, so that was huge. Yeah, it was like 6 months of recovery for me. So it was awful.
And when you're in it, you don't really see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Especially that young.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember much of that. I remember the injury. I remember briefly after, but if I think back to shortly after until almost my entire freshman year, I can't remember anything about it.
Were you on any medications?
Yeah, I was on a lot of meds.
Me too.
But it's almost like blacked out. It's really weird.
I remember when I broke my clavicle, it's the same for me. I remember I slept a lot. And yeah, every day was the same. So yeah, I don't have any memory of it either.
Yeah.
Mentally was a battle. Yeah. It is.
I remember this one. I was on this special medication because I had all this nerve damage in my leg, and essentially it was like if your leg ever falls asleep, it's like the tingling that you get in your leg, but I had that 24/7, so I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything, so I was on this pain medication called Neurontin, and I think they still have it, but essentially I feel like I was addicted to it because I remember my mom tried to wean me off, but I was so afraid of getting that tingling sensation back because it was like torture. I was like, no, I have to be on this stuff, and it freaked her out.
Hard.
Yeah. So.
I was living with my grandparents when I broke mine, and I was on hydrocodone. Yeah.
Could have been maybe hydro.
I was on both.
Oxy is the big stuff.
It is, yeah. So I had hydrocodone before my surgery and oxycodone after my surgery, and I think I only took it for like less than a week before my grandma was weaning me off of it and putting me on ibuprofen, which I had zero idea about. Over prescriptions and drugs and getting addicted, which is a really, really common problem in the U.S. And I had no idea about it, but I'm so glad she did.
Wow. Actually, fun fact. It's not fun, but fact.
Fact.
More people died from opioid abuse, I think it was last year or the year before, than Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's a big deal.
It's a very happy, exciting live tonight, you guys.
Jono, first one was at 33 years old, okay, and then 12 months was the first. Second was 24 months. Wow.
Dang.
Those are huge recovery times.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm sorry.
Bronarly, luckily no serious injuries recently, but had boxer's fracture a few years back and required plates. Hardest part of PT was not being able to do what my brain was telling my hand.
What is a boxer's fracture? I'm assuming it has something to do with these bones. But yeah, I'm curious, Bronarly, what that means.
Carpals?
Yeah, I'm assuming it has something to do with carpals, like fracturing those. Until the doctors got it right, Jono. Oh man, that's so frustrating.
How so? What do you mean doctors got... Oh, like the surgeries? Got the surgeries right? Because you have...
assuming.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha, yeah. Wow.
Bronarly, because of being in a cast for so long, also very lucky, I hate the way opioids make me feel. Yeah. That is good.
Yes, it is the metacarpals.
I don't like it either. Like, I remember being constipated, and I remember like being emotional, and I remember being tired and drowsy, and yeah, I agree, they're horrible.
I actually haven't encountered a lot of my patients here in Oregon that have like wanted to be on
medications.
Most of them are like anti-medications. So it's hard to find the balance between controlling your pain and discomfort versus and utilizing those medicines as they should be used for, and playing it safe and staying away from them. It's a hard line. You really have to know yourself and where you stand with addiction, especially. Because that kind of stuff just catches up with you before you know it.
Luckily, I feel like there's more awareness of it now than obviously what it used to be, because when all these drugs first started coming out, the doctors were like, oh, it fixes everything. There's no side effects. Just here, take them. And now we're all seeing the repercussions of that. So I think everyone's kind of pulling back a little bit, and so hopefully it won't be as big of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, bro. Gnarly. Yeah, so essentially these guys. So 4th, you broke it in 2 places here, and 5th, ooh. So you must have hit him with the outside or the bag or whatever you're hitting. That's a lot of force going through those 2 bones.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Dang.
Yeah. I noticed when I hit the heavy bag, not recently, but I tend to get a lot of discomfort in my carpal bones, my wrists.
In your wrists?
Yeah. I just have really flimsy wrists. Jono, they operated 2 times
2 times.
on the same because the operation didn't walk. Okay. Gotcha. Eesh, man.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, that's the other thing is surgery has its own risks and complications. So that could be surgery not working, which is everyone's nightmare.
Yeah.
That could be surgical issues that occur during or after the operation, which people...
accidental incisions or...
I mean more in the sense of people die from surgery.
Oh,
or,
totally.
Something happens that they didn't plan for. It happens more common than we think.
I know that when I was when I was going into surgery, because I had my clavicle, a plate and 5 screws put in, and when I was going in for my surgery, what I was most scared of was the anesthetics. Anesthesia of it all. No, the anesthesia, because I heard that if you get too little, you can wake up during surgery, and that is just a nightmare. And then if you have too much, you can obviously die, which is also not great. So that's what freaks me out the most about it all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy.
Douglas. What's up?
Douglas?
Welcome. We're talking about injuries and how they affect our mental health and how we get through them.
Kind of morbid topics.
Very morbid, actually, yeah.
But anesthesiologists definitely have a lot of responsibility. That's why they're like the creme de la creme of doctors.
Creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say post-surgery and getting back into a little bit of movement, maybe going up and using the restroom, going to sleep, eating, like taking care of yourself around the house kind of stuff. Once you get done with that point, like, how do you know when to get into like normal activity again? Like walking, maybe jogging?
I think you see a health professional who has studied that for years. Truly, though, I mean, yes, you should talk to someone, or at least do your research. Talk to a professional, or people generally know themselves best. So if you're able to function without further pain and discomfort, you're not seeing excess swelling after the fact. You're not seeing excess pain, after the fact. I think it's all relatively appropriate. So. But I would highly recommend talking to someone who knows what they're talking about.
Like seeing your own personal health professional.
Physio,
and that's
doctor,
not just a doctor. Some people think that the doctor is end all be all, which I'm not discrediting doctors at all. But they're one part of the team of recovery. And I think there's other parts of a team, like a physical therapist, maybe a mental health therapist, maybe a massage therapist, chiropractor. Like there's so many other parts to that.
Yeah, I think that's the old school medical model where doctor is God, but it's no longer like that anymore. Where doctors are now referring out to other specialties because they are the experts in that realm, and everyone has a voice in a patient's recovery. So, It's a good thing.
Yeah, totally.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Let's see. Bro gnarly got emergency
Appendectomy.
Oh, and was
Frightened of anesthesia.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I bet that was painful.
Thanks for finishing my
sentence. Yeah, I've heard those are so painful.
What is it?
Appendectomy.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So your appendix.
Okay, I know where that is.
On the right side, right lower quadrant.
Yeah.
Usually it's a sharp. I'd be curious to hear what that felt like. But usually it's a sharp
shooting pain. And you bend forward, right?
Yeah. So what they do is they call it, I forget, but they tap it.
Oh.
And then if it is extremely sharp, they have to give you an emergency operation.
Oh,
so if that bursts, then you're in deep shit.
Really?
Yeah. You can get sepsis. Essentially what they think happens, this is off topic, but they think fecal matter gets inside. They still don't know what
in your appendix?
Yeah, they don't know what the appendix does exactly, but they think fecal matter gets inside, or some sort of bacteria, and then it gets infected.
The idea that modern medicine today doesn't know what an organ does, and that we can just like live without it, it's fine, like that's weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. We should know what that does, and we should, I mean, in your case, yeah, you should probably take it out of your body, but to me, an organ that does nothing, what? That doesn't make sense. It does crazy. Something.
Jono, well, it's what they put into my body that's crazy. Pig skin to strengthen my tendon.
Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of that, actually.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe that's a European thing.
There's, I don't know.
So I do know that they use skin of animals when they are covering burns, especially, or if they're replacing skin, because it leaves that protected, and until they can replace it with human graft.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know what's the super common fish? Tilapia. I think it's tilapia. They use that as skin.
Really?
To cover human burned flesh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is super interesting.
That's a whole other game.
And I know they use, I think, pig skin. I don't know if it's pig skin, but they use animals for something inside ACL. But generally it's a cadaver, or it's something of the actual person.
Or like a hamstring muscle from
Yeah.
So sad to take out a hamstring.
Yeah. And then he said the other shoulder has titanium on the tendon. So do you mean that they screwed it in?
Off the bone?
Bro gnarly, felt like 2 knives inserted in either side of my lower abdomen, right at the belt line. Mine did burst. The surgeon said I had about 2 hours to get to the hospital. Told me I would have died.
Holy crap. Gosh. That's insane.
That was very descriptive.
Hold on while we process.
Yeah.
Wow. That's scary. I'm so sorry you went through that. Yeah, that's all I can say on that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Jono, doctors have lost contact with the person. We're physiotherapists and chiropractors and osteopaths. They seem to want to know what's wrong. Yeah, I would agree in some sense. Here, at least in the States, I think, unfortunately, it's a necessity. They have too many people to see. They have too many things to do. They can't spend a ton of time with each patient. I don't think that's out of choice.
Right, it's not out of choice.
I think a lot of doctors, it's not just doctors, a lot of health professionals are not good with people in general. So they chose to become doctors. Yeah.
I also think that doctors, kind of like what Mark said earlier, like they have this, like God, like people think of them like they know everything, but they don't know everything. Like they're actually, their realm is diagnosing, right? Like they take a problem that either they don't know what's wrong, or maybe they do know what's wrong, but they need to diagnose, they need to do a quick fix, they need to help an emergency situation, like yada, 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 or catch something like, going in for your yearly physicals and stuff like that. Like they are the kind of the front lines in that, whereas like they're not physios and they're not claiming to be, like, there's just, they can't do everything, and so there has to be so many different pieces of the puzzle. There has to be so many different experts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They're the Band-Aid. I hate to say that. I don't mean that in a bad way, but they are like oh crap, let's get you fixed now, and then go find the root of the problem with someone else, which is totally fine.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I think that's necessary when you're dealing with things that need to be approached now. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, someone with like diabetes who needs to get their blood sugar low, otherwise they're going to start losing limbs. They need to be on, insulin or medication to get that stuff dropping, and then they can approach the other stuff. But then I'll also say on the other side of that, there are plenty of physios, chiropractors, DOs that are horrible with people.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't know what they're doing, or they don't care, or they're just collecting a paycheck. Or
they're fried. They're burnt out. So it goes in all directions. Totally. Yeah. I kind of think of it as like a genre of music. Like when people say like, oh, I hate this genre. I'm like, you can't really hate a genre. Like there's good music and bad music in one genre. Like you may hate country, but there might be a country song that you like. Like there's always a good and bad. And
yeah.
So
totally.
Same with healthcare.
Yep, that's true.
Jono, doctors they screwed into my bone with the titanium and the pigskin. They also screwed into my bone to help the tendon.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Doctors in Australia don't like chiropractors, osteopaths, or physiotherapists. Really? That's a bummer.
That's interesting.
Do you feel it's that way here?
No. I think there's a new generation of healthcare professionals that understand the value in those other specialties or other areas. But I think the old school doctors still have a completely warped idea of what anything other than medical doctors do. Because they just, one, it doesn't matter to them, and two, they don't care. So...
Well, and I can imagine the beef that the doctors would have with all of these other health professionals is maybe they get people coming in saying like, oh, my chiropractor said, and I'm sure some doctors are like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's people with different opinions on things, and so maybe that's why there's beef.
I think the biggest the frustration is when people refer back to like WebMD or websites and say, oh, I have this, or they claim to know everything versus allowing the specialist. But you should always question your doctor. I will say that physio, doctor, chiropractor, whoever you're saying, you should always question them, and you should always get a second opinion. That's my mentality.
Yeah, and you do not want to learn that the hard way.
They are normal people just like you and I.
And unfortunately, because everything is driven by like insurance, I'm not saying all by any means, but there are some health professionals who are unethical, and they will give procedures that aren't even needed for the money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty common. So always get a second opinion.
Bro Gnarly, I'm on the side of it's always better to see a specialist versus a regular all-around doctor. Yeah, I mean, if you can see a specialist, I would 100% agree. I don't know, in the States, you have to see your primary care before you can see a specialist generally. So it's just a lot of time, it's a lot of money. But, you can, most places in the States, you can go directly to a chiro, you can go directly to a physio. Jono, chiropractors are doctors in this country of Austria, and physiotherapists are very important in this country also. Doctors think very highly of physiotherapy in Austria.
Cool.
That's awesome. And I've actually heard in most of Europe that physios are really highly respected.
That's awesome.
Just because it's a strenuous degree to obtain and competitive.
Are they doctors as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not.
All right, is the U.S. the only place where physical therapists are doctors?
Yes.
The only?
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I believe so.
There you go.
Bro Gnarly, I love the chiro. That's awesome. I actually have never been to a chiropractor.
I have one time.
Really?
Twice. And my ribs get out of place.
Okay.
I don't know. Your ribs they're in cartilage, right?
You're attached by cartilage.
Attached by cartilage. And so when people say like your ribs out, it's not like your ribs like falling out of place. It's like it can be very slightly tweaked, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but my chiropractor, I went to her and she popped 4 ribs back in, she said. And I don't know what she did. She probably did that. And I took a big breath and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like to breathe. I feel like I could actually like move my rib cage, which was really nice. So I had a very pleasant experience as well.
Yeah.
Jono says, my dad is a chiropractor and an osteopath. He did both. Cool.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's uncommon.
Well, osteopath has a history of manual therapy within it. So like their whole, what I've seen, this could be different in other places, but the young osteos in the States that I've met, there's a long history of manual therapy, kind of chiropractic work within the degree, but a lot of kids are moving away from that just because of the research behind it. So they have to take the classes, they have to know enough for the boards, but a lot of them are not necessarily utilizing that in their practice. So it's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but manual therapy has its place.
Yeah.
You know, so yep.
Well, very depressing talk tonight, you guys.
Thanks for staying with us.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was something that, I don't know, there's a lot of people that have gotten hurt this season, and maybe we just think that because everyone reaches out to us when they do, but we just known a lot of people who've gotten hurt. I've gotten my concussions, and so, yeah, it's been a topic that we've been talking about a lot, and so we just wanted to pick your guys' minds about it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your stories.
Yeah, seriously. Bro Gnarly, I'm so sorry that you almost died.
Yeah.
It's very scary. Yeah. I'm really glad that you went to the doctor when you did. It's exactly what they're for. Yeah, do you have anything else, Mark?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We're so tired, you guys. We're going to hit the hay. Thanks for coming. We will see you same time, same place next week. Can't promise if we'll have a topic or not. What'd Jono say?
Not depressing. Would be good if more people actually realize what their bodies can do and what happens with the human body once you've had an accident. Yes. Amen, brother.
Amen. Bro Gnarly, haha, I'm good now, but thanks. Good night. All right, you guys, good night. We love you. We will see you next week. And anything else? Toodaloo. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. See you later.